Alrighty. It's been a minute since I did anything. Second. What? Oh, thanks, sweetie. Alright, let's go over here. So I was thinking about how to find some watermelon. What we need to do. Dang. Where did this come from? That's a lot. So we back in the day we used to just put a bunch of chests here. If we want to make it automated though, I would need to basically underneath this room have all the storage here. It's a pretty large area to use. Seriously. Be 3 blocks tall when I do what I need to do for it. It'll be something like that. Something like this. So the thing is, what do we want to do? Do we want to have it where creepers can blow up on the outside, or do we want to make it just make a little teeny area down here? We could have like a potion lab down there. We can have the other stuff there. Tempting. So it's tempting. We can also go down one more layer to give us a little bit more space. I'm actually thinking that that's probably the way to go. When I say I'm going to make a storage system, I'm going to try and use the target block to do something. We got to actually figure it out. But for the time being, I think we probably should, and I mean, I say this not lightly, we probably should just use the upstairs chests until I can figure this out, because we can do the old one, which is pretty expensive as far as stuff goes. I mean, about the only thing I can do is change most of it to be... I could probably change most of it. About the only thing we could do. But I do think that would be good. You come downstairs, there is a wall here, just like there's one upstairs. The wall comes across here. And then you got you got your storage, or maybe even storage here. One of the two, right? All right, so I'm tempted to make this all out of like stone brick, honestly, because it's like technically a basement. You wouldn't want to use wood. Might be the way to go. What kind of decorations could we do is the question. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm curious. What kind of decorations should I do? I mean, I've seen some people that make, you know, dark. They make a dark color with this. We kind of want it to be dungeon-esque. That would mean like we'd want to use iron bars, things like that in here. We aren't exactly having stacks and stacks of coal either, so this is one of those things where it's like we don't really want to make like an auto furnace, like a super fast smelter. There's no point on this world, and I'd say from here on out, honestly, just because you can't. Yeah, you can't do it. So we definitely have plenty of wood. So I'm tempted to not do stone bricks. I'm tempted to decorate with the stone bricks, have wood with stone bricks. But I don't know what we'd want to do, honestly. Like, I remember you could just go down and mine anywhere and find 10 stacks, you know? Easy 10 stacks. You could get an easy 10 stacks of charcoal, you know? Or coal, sorry. Coal. I haven't been getting a lot of people watching me, so we're pretty much exactly like we were on Twitch, where no one is watching us. Which is understandable, honestly, just because of two reasons. We aren't exactly doing Redstone. It's not why people subscribe to me to watch me do Let's Play stuff. My whole thing is that the people have been making Redstone for years, so I can come in and try and take someone else's design, modify it a little bit, credit the person, and just keep on doing tutorials, you know? Sometimes, I mean, back in the day, I used to pick people that had really bad tutorials that were horrible, and then I would do them in the way that I do them, and people would be happy about it because the other person's tutorial sucked. And so I kind of like it's kind of shitty though. You take something they did all that work on, and then you improve it. I don't think it's right or fair, but I don't know. One of the reasons I was like, it's just gotten to the point now where you know it's so easy for a YouTuber that has so much views to just come in, take something, and then even credit you, and you don't even get 10 views off of it. Seriously, it's really not very good. Like no joke. It's real. That's some real. That's some real stuff right there. So floor, huh? Yeah, I think we're just gonna go with wood for right now. It looks something like that. Getting some frame rate. Yeah, this is probably the most abundant resource we have right now because of the tree eater. We need to go get clay as well. But I definitely think this will be good. I don't think we want to put floor in here if we're planning on putting a storage system in here. Seriously. Yeah, I had a rough weekend last weekend. I went to a Mexican restaurant, and me, my wife, and I. Sorry, I just used myself twice. I meant my son, myself, but I actually meant my son, or my wife, my son, and I. That's the right way to say it. Went there, and we got sick afterwards. They had the runs, and I was like, I thought it tasted weird. The lady said something about a sauce, but I think that the sauce she was talking about was actually most likely spitting or maybe even putting cleaner. I left a review saying that, that it made me sick, but in all reality, pretty sure I am pretty sure that those people really dislike white people. Just gonna say. It's the truth. It's not like I'm making that shit up. Like, if you're gonna make someone sick with something as easy as, I mean, you know, it's not like they made every single plate. We all ordered something different. So, definitely, definitely not right. I can tell you that I've never done that before. Not even as a joke, you know? I just sit there and I go, how bad do you dislike? It's funny too because they don't do it to rich people. You know what I mean? They don't do that to rich people. They do it to the people that are just like them, living poor, you know? And they act like, I just say, that's where I go, how can it be that racist? You know what I mean? How is it that racist? I go, trying, trying to not sound like I'm white privileged, asking for more privilege. But in all reality, that's just an excuse to treat white people badly. And I'm going to go ahead and say that all it's going to do is unify white people. And I'm going to say that I don't say that lightly. But I can tell you right now, the moment more than three white people get together to protest, it'll be considered white supremacy. So I was watching this thing. And be the best way to put it. So it's basically about transgender slash LGB stuff. Okay, so basically, to say that a transgender um, female can't have a child is transphobic. Now, that means that you have to learn how to speak again, honestly. Seriously, because to say anything, just anything negative about a transgender, if you say they can't jump as high, or if you say something like that, makes perfect sense to me, right? But when it comes to the other stuff, which is what we just talked about, I just go, that is very odd. I'm just gonna say it's very weird, strange. You know what I mean? Very strange. So basically, you have to learn. So it's like this. Here's the crazy part. It, that's it's not the same, is it? It's not the same as a woman. Somebody actually said this, and you know, I was like, I believe in this, and I mean, it does sound crazy, but could possibly be true. Is someone said that actually, I'm not even going to say that because that's technically they could just basically say that I'm being transphobic as well. Anyway, long story short, if you say a transgender woman cannot have a child through natural birth, that's considered transphobic. That means that you can't be factual anymore. Like you can't go according to gender. You can only adopt, right? But if you say that, you're transphobic, which is that's a trip to me because I'm all about facts, you know? I know people that are like that too, where they're all about the facts of things. It's like this is green, green. And so it's like this. Men think that way. Most men, and I sit here and go, by doing that, you make everyone transphobic. So if somebody goes, well, wait a minute, you can't have a child. You don't have the right parts. Transphobic. Seriously, is that insane? Is that odd or what? Anybody think that's weird? I just go, well, wait a minute. That doesn't sound correct, right? I mean, like, so we have to learn to speak again, right? We have to learn how to basically. So you can't down them in any way. I'm gonna go ahead and say that is going to be a problem, And I go, what's going on with that? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. You're basically you're basically taking away someone's right to speak the way that they like to speak. And if you don't do that, then you can just basically categorize them and say that they're all transphobic. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that people are going to use that against them. I'm serious. They're going to use that against them. If you don't believe me, it's already happening. You can see the Republican senators and the way that they talk going, this is ridiculous. It's against my right, my rights, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to bring down the hammer. And I'm going to say, don't be surprised if they don't take away people's rights. I'm just going to tell you that right now. They're going to do it. Seriously, they are going to do it. They've already been planning it. You know, seriously. First thing they did was take away women's rights, right? Now they're taking away. They're gonna take away transgender slash LGBT. I can't even remember it all. Honestly, it's changed like 3 times in the last 3 years. But you know, I am an advocate for that. I'm like, if that's what you want to be and that's what's going on, that's great. But I'm just gonna tell you, you're gonna cause a lot of problems for other people that are not going to want to do that. They're going to be like, hell no. You know what I mean? It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a problem. Gonna be a problem. All right, we're going to have to put these here, I think. Hey. Yeah, does anybody think the same thing? Do they think that? I think it's like this. As soon as enough white people start getting, I'm going to say, racist slash being treated like shit by other races, which I'm going to go ahead and tell you has been happening more and more frequently. And I'm going to go ahead and say that at some point, they're going to make people so racist. How many bad experiences can you have before you start going, hey, I'm not being treated equally and I'm not going to give equality? That's basically what's going on right now. A good example of this is, I'm just going to say, I know a person that was at Walmart and a black person came walking through, a black woman came walking through saying, I feel sorry for you white people. It's Black History Month. It's like, first off, no one's gonna watch it if they're ashamed of that or if it hurts them. Second off, most people just feel sympathy, and the way that they do those movies, just gonna tell you, the way they do them, the way they do those movies is quite funny because the only people that really feel bad about it, because I mean, no white person knows if their family was a slave owner, right? Do you think that they keep records of that? We don't have records that far. It's one of the reasons why we don't have them, and we haven't had what is it? History. We haven't had history. We don't even keep our own history, which is why we took it away from others because we don't think it's important because we haven't had our own history for a long time. Just gonna say, like no joke. I'm not trying to be transphobic, and if I do offend somebody, that's not my intention. My intention is to say, hey, this stuff is real. It's real stuff. It's like I said, if you take cause and effect, if you start treating anyone badly enough, they are going to become angry. And when you get a bunch of people together that are angry, I'm going to say right now, it's going to have bad things. Just like anyone, there's riots whenever a black man's shot, which, I mean, makes sense to me. I'd riot too. I would riot too. My whole thing is that most of the time it's just an excuse for one particular group to go and rob everything. It gives criminals a chance to be criminals. You know what I mean? It really does. So for time being, we're gonna have to find our chests here. I don't know what I did with them. I had like 51 chests. Might be in one of these. Let's go in here. But yeah, I just sit there and I go. I look at it and I go, wait a minute. This is gonna end badly for minorities because there's so many white people. Once enough white people go, you know what? I am tired of being treated like garbage, and I'm tired of being, like a white man cannot. I'm serious. A white man cannot even comment on Twitter because we all have white privilege. So basically, we don't have a voice. Now, take away the voice of people, and then watch what happens. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not advocating for white supremacy. I'm just saying that unfair is unfair. Does anybody agree with that or no? So if you fucking take away the rights of people and I'm just gonna go ahead and say white men in general are not okay. Just gonna say that most white men have been. Let's just say this: all the rights go. It's like this: having all the rights has given white men, the what do you want to call it? Is it superiority? We get more than anyone, right? We used to, right? But I think it's more like this. People see it as being those rights, but I can tell you right now, for most white people, they see it as being there's more of us, so we can vote for that stuff, right? That makes any sense? I know it sounds shady, but I'm just saying when you had when minorities had their have their voice taken from them, the most people all they want to do is get eye for an eye justice. That means that, like I said, take away enough people's voice and then watch what happens. I'm going to say that right now. You know, people are not going to be happy. People are going to do something about it. That's all I can say. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to get to the point where, like I said, it's going to be like the 50s when the rights of other people start getting encroached upon. And that's after we opened up our hearts to them to say, hey, you deserve more than that. And then all of a sudden, now we don't deserve anything. If you're a white male, you've had so much white privilege that you can't actually do that. Well, what about white men that are poor, that don't have any money? Do we still have white privilege? We get looked down and treated like shit from white people that are let's say middle class and above. Anybody that doesn't make enough money, let's just say, anybody that doesn't make as much money as them is considered inferior and low or white trash, whatever you want to call it. So just think about that for a sec. Now let's talk about how people are snapping and shooting up schools. You know, what happened in that guy's life? First off, most women don't want nothing to do with any guy under five, or under 6 foot, which means that guy doesn't know it and doesn't want to believe it, but he is not going to be able to find a date for the life of him unless he's got, other assets, which I'm going to go ahead and say that's not necessarily how it's going to work. You know what I mean? And I say this, and I mean I'm not trying to sound any other way. And I mean I'm pretty. I'm gonna say I'm disabled, so I talk like I don't have an education. Seriously, whoa, where did this guy come from, and why is he here? Weird, huh? What the hell? He just like walks off, like oh. Anywho, as I said before, it's crazy, right? So I know we can use dripstone to farm stuff. I'm gonna put it in here because I don't know how to use that just yet. But like I said, I mean, I can just see it right now. Okay, as soon as it starts affecting enough white wealthy people, seriously, they are going to get most of the poor slash middle class people and convince them to do something about it. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to start with bad votes. We're going to talk about just like it was back in the 50s when it's like, oh, well, you want to have rights? Well, guess what? You want to have more rights than we do. Now I'm going to go ahead and say that this isn't when we went to this restaurant and then we conveniently got sick afterwards, and everyone, including my son, had diarrhea. Clearly, that they put cleaner in it. Now, should have I called the police? I don't have any proof because we ate it. Like I said, it tasted off to me, but I'm going to go ahead and say that the look on their faces will probably stay there with me for a long time. I'm going to go ahead and say that I did do a review, but I'm just trying to tell you, like, that's my experience. I'm like, I will not eat at a taqueria ever again. I'll just say that right now, especially if a Mexican is behind it, because I don't feel like I'd be safe. Now, does that make me racist, or is it like, hey, I've ate at Mexican restaurants before and gotten sick, but I've gotten really sick this last time. Like that was the sickest I've been. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say that when I was a young kid, I you could drink cleaner and it would make you feel high, but you'd actually be feeling more sick than high. If that makes any sense, you'd be feeling more sick than high. So, where I'm going with this, is that that's exactly how I felt. I felt sick. My stomach was not okay, but I did feel like my mind wasn't right. So, made me go. They put some sort of cleaner in it. Now, I could go back there and order it and order something similar, and then basically call the police. But there's a chance they probably won't do it again, will they? But if they did, right, are they gonna test it and go, yeah, there's cleaner in this? You know what I mean? Like I said, it would be a big deal to get justice from that. Just gonna say it would be a real big deal to get justice. Now you can sit there and go, well, what about all the people that were treated poorly by white people? It's like we're talking about a generation of people that were taught that, not the other way around. Not like, oh, they just woke up and I woke up this morning and was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a racist. That's not how it works. You know, that's not how people are doing it. Just saying. It's not like people wake up and go, you know what, I'm gonna be a racist today. Something bad has to happen, or something bad has to happen to one of their friends. Seriously, just in the other way too. Like I said, what comes around goes around, right? So it's like, oh well, you're white, your time's done, right? Your time's done. Is it though? Is my time done? Is the white guy's time over? How far will it go before white guys will start to go, hey, we need to come together? And I'll tell you right now, the government will try everything to prevent that. It'll try to prevent white people from ever getting together. Hence Trump, but I'm not a Trump supporter. Just gonna go ahead and say, but I do go like this. So basically, so my forefathers, right? Which I'm gonna go ahead and say, we didn't even live here. Half of my family didn't even live in the United States, and I don't even know the other one. And I'm gonna say that if you go all the way back, I have American Indian in me, American Indian, and that doesn't get you shit in this country. It's like my great, you know, American Indian parents were basically bred out. But you can, if you do a DNA test, you're gonna see that I have that in me. So, but I don't get any extra rights for that, which you should. You have to be full blooded to get any rights, which is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, it sounds crazy, but I'm just saying, when how many years did it take before African Americans started grouping together and started going, "Hey, we deserve better rights," and they do. They do. Plain and simple. Here's the question: though: do they deserve more rights? Does anyone deserve more rights than the other? You know, probably not, right? I don't think so. I don't think that's how it is. Just saying. saying we need charcoal. Wait a minute. Do I have any chests here? No, we don't have anything. I have some cobblestone in my chest, but... Okay. But yeah, just saying, you know, right is right. Fair is fair, right? Isn't it supposed to be, you know, equality? And I'm just going to go ahead and say, every time an African American dies, African Americans say, you know, that it's unjust. And most likely, most of the time it is. Just going to say, most of the time it is. So, most white people don't give two shits about anybody but themselves. Why is that? How did that happen? How come it's like that? Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that corrupt politicians slash what we've seen going on is exactly why that's happened. Just going to say, in my opinion. Now I am playing a game and talking, which is actually kind of hard, so I might sound inappropriate, and that's not what I'm trying to do. Okay. Whoa. Thought I was flying in the air. I looked down and I never moved. Weird, huh? It's cray. Okay, what are we looking for? That's right, we need clay. 40 bricks. Got another 10. We don't have much more. Yeah, I just sit there and I go, you know, I gotta say this. There are a lot of people that are not happy with it and they're not gonna allow it to happen. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that most white people can just go into their suburbia, which is an isolated community, if you will. They go into suburbia and they can do that. Most white people can do that. Seriously. They can just go into suburbia. Pretty sure we have to come out one more here. Or maybe even 3. Did I go out 3? No, I just went 2. Otherwise, it will light on fire. It's a possibility that this may light on fire, too. There's a possibility. But I don't think these are like that. They're not like a normal fire. The one that you have that's not in control. Because these are basically... They don't burn... Yeah, we should be okay. We probably don't even need... We probably don't even need this, do we? Yeah, we probably don't even need it. Just gonna say, I don't think we do. I'm pretty sure you can put a campfire over wood and it doesn't light on fire. Yeah. Pretty sure. Yeah, it just trips me out because I sit there and I go, you know, cause and effect, right? You treat any ethnicity, if it's treated inferior by another, you're going to eventually get people are going to unite because they have to, right? It just depends on how long, right? And I just sit there and I go, what's going to happen when that happens? It's just going to be another excuse. It's one of the reasons why it's like, it's really weird. To me, it's one of those strange things. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But gonna say, it's not going to take, some madman, as you guys have already seen, is going to take someone's focus, right? And because they're being treated inferior, or if they even think they're being treated inferior, some madman's gonna get everything he needs and everything he wants. Seriously. Just like, most dictators, right? You can see a good example of that with Trump, right? I personally believe that a lot of white people are pushed into another area, and it just ends up causing them to feel like they are being treated inferior. Just gonna say, and all it's gonna take is the right motivation to get people to stop caring about that and to do some really bad shit. I'm just saying, it's the way that it happens, right? We've seen it already. I've met men in my life, people that I've known that would basically tell me that all the women had been stolen by black people, by black men, right? Because they got bigger peens, right? Of course, that's nonsense if you have a big peen, right? If you know what I'm talking about. Right? But on average, there's more short, small guys or average guys than there are, in between. So, like I said, what's up? On what? Probably isn't available. You can't find one that has it. Oh, you have to hit back and just hold left on it until it's all the way back. Like when it's actually ready to play, when you're seeing it, just hit left, nothing else. Don't hit stop or pause. Hit back. I'm just saying, like that's what I see to happen in the future. It would be nice though. To me, it would be nice if that wouldn't happen. It would be nice if it was like, hey, aren't we all trying to get together and live